Hi everyone, Nick here. This is a re-edit of my original review for Doctor Who Can You Hear Me, the 7th episode of Series 12. This was after rewatching the series for the re-ranking of Series 12. This is the only one that's gone down, in opinion, because I originally gave it an 8 out of 10, but I've now lowered the score, so this review is being reposted but re-edited with the new score. This is due to the fact that it's not because I dislike it more, it's just due to the fact that I think there could have been a few elements in the story that could have been done better or explored better, and some elements that could have been lost. So I'll hand you back over to past me to do the review, and present me, future me basically, will pop in at the time of the score to explain myself a bit more and give the new score. And please keep all comments civil, especially concerning Doctor Who series 11 and 12, because my god, how uncivil the internet can be concerning those when we're talking about those two Doctor Who series. Okay, without wasting any more time, on to the original review. I got chips. Mate, this isn't a good time. Yeah, okay, but I got chips. I want chips. Alright, come on in then. Classic Ryan. Or should that be Revival series Ryan? Good one. Yay! Wait, what about me? Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 12 Episode 7, Can You Hear Me? Before we begin, I apologise for if you hear any noise outside. My sister's singing. Loudly. So, Can You Hear Me? The 12th episode of Doctor Who Series 12. No, the 7th episode of Doctor Who Series 12. I did that with the reaction. Got it wrong. Okay, so this episode, the Doctor and her friends return to Sheffield so they can have a visit. Think arachnids in the UK. Meanwhile, in Syria in 1380, this woman is seeing these creatures coming around and they're attacking and kidnapping people. And it turns out these creatures are being controlled by a certain Mr. Zenin. Well, not called Mr. Zenin, just Zenin. And he's popping up in Sheffield, giving the Doctor's friends, or their friends, some nightmares, and a woman who's trapped in this orb prison-y thing is trying to communicate with Graham. So the Doctor goes and has a look in Syria when the TARDIS detects some issues, and the Doctor gets joined by the girl I was talking about. Then after that, so the Doctor picks up her friends. There's a really great bit where we get a shot of all three of the companions split up, reacting to the Doctor bring her new friend along. That was very clever. I liked that. So the gang travel to this spaceship near two planets that is controlling the orb prison-y thing with the woman Graham had visions of. By the way, they bring back the TARDIS telepathic control units. However, unlike in Series 8, where they had an organic section where Clara stuck her hands in, this time the Doctor just wires a head thing onto Graham so that he can think about it, so they can get the TARDIS coordinates. Whatever just happened to just having a normal control panel? Anyway, so they arrive on the ship and they discover I'll just call him Mr. Zenin. They meet Zenin, and they well, he reveals that the woman in the orb was actually his partner. So think of him as like there's two of them, and they go around doing this, and that's his partner, and he takes everybody and gives them bad dreams. I do have to say, I would have liked to have gone into a bit more detail, a bit deeper into the dreams that the companions had. I don't think they looked for a concept like this, because Zenin reminds me a lot like the Nightmare Man from the Sarah Jane Adventures. He also name drops a couple of other past Doctor Who characters. These guys are the Immortals, but Zenin name drops the Eternals, seen in the Fifth Doctor story Enlightenment, which is a great story in my opinion. The Guardians, of course, the Black and White Guardians, seen in seasons 16 and 20, including Enlightenment, with the 4th and 5th Doctors, respectively. Season 16 was really great, apart from fucking Power of Kroll, which was absolute shite. Season 20 was a good season, but they were only in 3 stories of that season rather than all 6 of 16, and they varied they vary in quality but in the good section of quality, but vary in that section. And he also name drops the toy maker. I wonder which character he's name dropping there. the Celestial Toy Maker from the marvelous The Celestial Toy Maker, William Hartnell, First Doctor story. Anyway, so he names drops a couple of people, and of course we also have another previous character make a cameo. Monster, I should say, make a cameo, as in Ryan's Nightmare, the Dregs make an appearance. The Dregs from Orphan 55. It was, despite my opinions on that episode, it was actually interesting to, it was actually nice to see the Dregs pop back in, as Ryan's dream sort of has connections to the revelations in Orphan 55. So I actually like this tie-in, even though I'm not a fan of Orphan 55 itself and how it dealt with its revelations. But the way it was tied in here was good. And I was geeking out at the other the name dropped references. But despite that, like I said, I think the companion dreams could have been delved into more, especially Yaz's, because that one I didn't really completely understand when watching them. Apparently, it's because this sort of revealed at the end that she's running away due to being bullied and not doing very well in school, and her sister, who actually does care for her. That was something I mentioned in the reaction. Sonia in this episode, Sonia Khan, is very different to how we've seen her before. As she misses Yaz quite a bit in this one, and in 3 years earlier, when Yaz originally ran away, she was the one to contact the police, and a police officer went and found Yaz and had a talk with her. FYI, I was wondering hang on, 3 years from that to here, and she was a police officer by October 2018, because 3 years earlier would have been about February 2017, wouldn't it? There's no way she would have been a police officer that quickly, but maybe it only takes about 18 months or something. I did the maths. It's about 18 to 20 months from that flashback to the events of The Woman Who Fell to Earth. So maybe in 18 months, Yaz became 18 to 20 months, Yaz became a probational officer, and is now a high-ranking probation officer, despite her going off with the Doctor quite a lot by February 2020. So those bits were good. I also liked the storylines with the girl from Syria and Ryan's friend Timon, who we saw in Spyfall Part 1, towards the start. How they're having to battle with mental illness, which may have been something that ties in with Yaz, as well as Graham's own little, his own concerns about his cancer. And Ryan, of course, has this dyslexia. So this episode plays a lot into mental illness and how the tie-ins with human fear ties in, and the insecurities ties in with mental illness. To wrap up the story, the gang managed to stop Zenin and his partner with the help of the little creature that he used to create to give the Syrian girl nightmares, and they're able to put them back into the Orb prison. And then we wrap up with the resolvements of these nightmares. Some nice stuff. I also have to say, there's this bit where the doctor's, Graham's talking to the doctor about his worries, and she doesn't really know how to answer him, so she just tries to just work at the console. To be honest, this has split a lot of people. There's quite a few people who aren't very happy about this because she's practically ignoring Graham when he's opening up to her. But other people are saying that it does fit with her character. And I do have to say, yes, I have to agree on both points. It does feel very 13 moment. She is socially awkward character. She doesn't really open up to humans. And the 12th Doctor had a similar problem. However, in such a situation like this, maybe she could say, I'm a bit socially awkward. I'm not quite sure what to say, but maybe she could have tried some sort of reassurance, at least tried to say something reassuring. So what we get works with the character, but we could have also had her try, maybe, to reassure Graham at least, so she wouldn't at least be ignoring him. Maybe she'd try and, or at least not straight away anyway. I could say it fits with the character. It's just that perhaps she could have said something instead of ignoring him. I know, like I said, she's socially awkward, but perhaps she could have tried saying something. Yeah, so yeah, it does. I can understand. I can understand why some people would get a bit upset about that. So can you hear me? I thought this was a good episode. I don't think it's a spectacularly great episode, but I think it's a good metaphor for mental illness with the villains. I think it's a good story, simple story. Ties in some little bits with the characters. I think the companions are actually all great in this story. I just would have liked to have developed more on their nightmares. Perhaps if the episode was 60 minutes instead of 50, if it was an hour, then I think it would have delved in. It could have delved in more into the nightmares. It's also this random bit where Zenin pops into a little girl's room just to scare her after her mum says, "Oh, there's no bogeymen under the bed or anything. No such thing as bogeymen, such and such." Just felt a bit strangely added in. I know it works with the character, but it just felt a bit, and what he's doing, it's just a bit odd. And how did he get into the TARDIS? And why didn't he do anything whilst in the TARDIS? I know he's been watching the Doctor, but what was the point of jumping into the TARDIS? Infiltrating the TARDIS just to appear and then disappear again? But nevertheless, some good writing from Charlene James, the writer, and also Chris Chibnall. This time, yeah, I do see why he contributed to this episode. Unlike with Praxis, where I think he could have just let Pete McTeague write that one on his own, and you wouldn't have much of a difference, because that one neither tied in with the story arc, nor did it really develop the characters or the main characters any more than a non-Chris Chibnall story. Whilst this one does focus quite a lot on the characters, and even does have a slight tie-in with the story arc where the Doctor dreams about the Timeless Child, and we get a little bit more footage of the Timeless Child, but we snap back out of that before anything else happens. We hopefully should find out more about it in the finale, or at least the last episode, but hopefully we'll find out in the last two episodes. If not, definitely the last one. We'll see about that. But yeah, it looks like there's something is going on with this Timeless Child thing, and the Doctor's sleeping out, thinking about it. It's on her mind quite a bit, and it's become a kind of a fear. On the whole, I think Can You Hear Me is a good sci-fi drama, slightly horror in place. Well, I wouldn't say horror, but got some scary moments, some creepy moments. And I like the mental illness comparisons. There was even a BBC thing at the end. I wasn't even aware it was trying to make comparisons to mental illness, apart from Brian's friend, whether he had to go and see someone, go and speak to some people about it. And then the BBC thing came at the end is to give people helplines if they feel upset about it, or to help. So I thought tying in with mental health illness made sense. And also the cinematography and editing was actually really good in this episode. There was quite a lot of that, and some great animation, and and some great visual effects. And also I liked the animation bits when the partner, Immortal, the girl, the woman one, was talking about the backstory, what was going on. They did that in a nice animated segment, a la Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. That one worked really well. I thought that was very good. When I first heard they were having an animated segment, I was thinking something along the lines of the animated episodes of the remake, the missing episodes being reanimated, or something like Dreamland and Infinite Quest. But no, actually, it's quite nice what would they do here. It looks really good, and it just looks really good, and a nice story to go with it. And that's pretty much this episode in a nutshell. It's not gonna light the world on fire like Prisoner of the Jadoon or Spyfall maybe, but I think it's a good solid episode. I don't think it's spectacular, but I think it's good. It's good stuff. Hi, Nick from the future here, popping in as promised earlier to give you guys a rescore for this review. So I originally gave it an 8 out of 10 in this review, and so I decided to change it following watching it for a third time in time for the Series 12 ranking that will be coming up. I shall be giving Can You Hear Me a 7 out of 10. I originally gave it an 8 out of 10, but I was kind of surprised I gave it an 8 out of 10 on reflection. I was a bit surprised, and so I thought I might have to lower that to a 7, and then I did after rewatching the story. It's a good story, I did like it, but I think we could have done some stuff better. If we lost the Aleppo stuff and with stuff with, what's her name? Tylin, I think it was, and the beast thing she's afraid of, that is weaker CGI than the werewolf from 14 years ago in Tooth and Claw. Oh, that's embarrassing. But yeah, if we lost all that, perhaps we could have expanded on the nightmares of the main characters, which is what the trailer was implying. And it could have been a good mix of the Celestial Toymaker meets Enlightenment meets the Nightmare Man from the Sarah Jane Adventures. Could have been a really good story and really enjoyable. But I think they took a few wrong decisions in some places. But it's not a bad story. Some people might try to make it look like a bad story, but it's actually a pretty good story. I just think it could have been a bit better. So, yeah, I think it's good, but it could honestly have been better. And I think that's the biggest problem with this one. It had potential. Not to mention it tried to do the message of mental illness, but I think, again, because of some other stuff happening in the story, it didn't quite get across that as much as I think it was intending to, apart from in certain scenes towards the end. Anyway, that's it from future me explaining the re-edit and reasons and stuff. I shall now hand you over back to past me to wrap up the review. I thought it was a good story. I thought it was good. Does feel slightly fillery, but to be honest, we haven't really had the fillery-esque felt story this series, although Praxis. No, not even Praxis, really. But, this one was good. I liked it. Next time is The Haunting of Villa Diote, which sees the Doctor meet Lord Byron, the father of Ada Lovelace, who she met in episode 2, and Mary Shelley, who she meets at an earlier point in her life, to when the 8th Doctor met her in some Big Finish audios that when they travelled together. And we'll see how this story pans out. And then after that, we'll be on to the 2-part epic finale, which should feature the return of the Cybermen, and will probably, not confirmed, but probably see the return of the Master, the Roof Doctor, Captain Jack, and the revelations of the Timeless Child, and maybe the departures of 1 or 2, or maybe all 3 of the companions. Not certain. Toz and Cole and Man Gill are apparently going. Certainly Toz and Cole, so we'll see. Nothing confirmed yet, apart from that the Cybermen are going to be in it. And those new cyber designs look really great, by the way. So I'm looking forward to the last 2 episodes especially. But I'm also looking forward... So I'm really looking forward to the last 2 episodes. But I'm also looking forward to the episode before. So that will be the next one. The Haunting of Villa Diote. I'm holding out for some Big Finish references. Just to say, oh, I used to travel with her a couple of incarnations ago. But it'll be in her future. And maybe she'll reference, we did meet the Cybermen at one point. That would be a nice reference. That's it. That's all they need to do. Because otherwise it'd be a remake of Sylvaner. Some people were worried it was going to be a remake of the audio, The Silver Turk, but I don't think that'll be the case. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time for The Haunting of Villa Diote. Oh, that was going to be on the Universal's channel. Just to let you know, that won't be on the Universal's channel. That one. And yeah, so there'll be a link video. So I'll see you there, and then after that will be the series finale back here. I'll see you guys next time for The Haunting of Villa Diote. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne YouTube channel. Sorry about that, little hiccup there. Anyway, so the gang then, the doctor goes, for Christ's sake, I'm busy, guys. And then, after the Eternals from, these guys are immortals. But then drops the name drops the Immortals. No. Pretty good season, great. Anyway, and then after that, the epic finale, hopefully. It better be a better finale than last year. Well, hopefully be a better action. Start again. 3, 2, action. Yeah, action. Difficult bit is to put it back. I want chips. Let's do that again. I want chips. I want chips. One more time. I want chips. Okay, fourth time. I want chips. I want chips. I want chips. Wait, what about me? Wait. So I will be giving Can You Hear Me? I've decided to go with an 8. This might change, might go lower on later viewings. I was considering 7, but I think I'm going to stick with my guns and go with 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good story. I don't think it was amazing, but I think the only reason it would go down is similar reasons, but less of a positive opinion, but still would be on a similar note. Okay, let's not waste any more time. On to the original review, and I'll see you back in a bit. But upon rewatching it, I was actually quite surprised when I discovered, I gave it an 8 out of 10. But I was kind of surprised that I gave it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so that's about it. But anyway, so that's about it for here. Anyway, so that's about it for future me explaining himself. I'll now hand you back over to past me to wrap the review up. Anyway, so that's it from future me explaining myself for the re-edit of school.